Winning UFC gold is a monumental achievement within itself, but holding on to that title is an even greater challenge. In this video, we're going to take a look at some of the most impressive and sustained title reigns in UFC history. From legendary champions who dominated their divisions to those who etched their names into the record books. Let's take a look at the fighters who truly defined what it means to be a dominant champion. Flyweight is a division that the UFC nearly scrapped a few years ago because the higher-ups felt it lacked exciting finishers. This perception was largely due to Demetrius Mighty Mouse Johnson, who had cleared out the division in his 11 defense title reign. This alone is impressive, but it becomes even more remarkable when you consider that he ended 7 of those 11 fights by stoppage and picked up 7 bonuses along the way. Notable wins on his resume include defeating Joseph Benavidez twice, a TKO victory over Henry Cejudo, and who can forget that crazy suplex to armbar finish over Ray Borg. Johnson's record title reign ended in a split decision loss to Henry Cejudo right after the Borg fight, leading to his departure to ONE FC and a swap deal with Ben Askren. Since then, no champion has even come close to Johnson's dominance. In fact, if you add up all of the title defenses of champions who came after DJ, they still wouldn't have half of his defenses, making his title reign one of the most impressive in UFC history. The record for title defenses at women's bantamweight is held by Ronda Rousey, and back then she seemed like the most dominant champion that we'd see for some time. That was of course until the total savage Amanda Nunes subbed Miesha Tate to win the belt for herself, and then put together an impressive 5 defenses, including a 48-second demolition job of Ronda Rousey herself, a split decision win over Valentina Shevchenko, and a first round head kick decapitation of Holly Holm. In the middle of all this, the Lioness also decided to move up to featherweight and smoke Chris Cyborg in 1 round to become the champ. Ronda's 6 defenses are all good on that, but the way that Amanda Nunes came in and totally took over the entire sport is undeniable. This particular reign did come to an end in one of the biggest upsets in MMA history when Amanda Nunes was stopped by Juliana Pena. Nunes would of course win her belt back in an immediate rematch, defend it once, and then she remains retired. With Kayla Harrison now signed to the UFC, I think she'll end up claiming the belt for herself and putting together a run of her own. I just wonder if that'll make the Lioness consider coming out of retirement for an absolute super fight. Until recently, the men's featherweight division had the shortest lineage with only 4 fighters ever holding the title. Of course that changed when Ilia Topuria knocked out long-serving champion Alexander Volkanovski to become the 5th man to hold the featherweight strap. The inaugural champion Jose Aldo put together a great run with 7 defenses during his 5-year reign, but the champion I want to talk about is Alexander the Great. After casually TKOing Chad Mendes and getting a unanimous decision against Jose Aldo, Volk got his title shot against Max and came out on top, securing a unanimous decision. With Max having 3 defenses to his reign, an immediate rematch was made and Volk would win this one by split decision and claim his first title defense. Many Holloway fans like myself screamed robbery, so after a season of tough with Ortega, a unanimous decision win over Ortega, and a one-sided beatdown of the Korean Zombie, Volk said, "Yeah, come on then mate, I'll do you again." And did him again he did with another decision win over Max. Like most champions, Volk then dared to be great as he moved up to challenge the big bad Dagestani Wolf in a razor close fight where he did himself proud. But with the decision going Islam's way, Volk would have to return to his own division and take on the rising challenger and interim champion Yair Rodriguez. A lot of people wondered what Alex had left after taking the first loss in what felt like forever. But yeah, it wasn't even close. Volk took him down 7 times, controlled him for about 7 minutes, all while landing about 3 times as many total strikes. After this, Volk did what Volk does and stepped in on 11 days notice to replace Charles Oliveira against Islam Makhachev. And yeah, we all know how that one turned out, don't we? Even after losing by nasty knockout to Ilia Topuria, I'd never quite write Volkanovski out of a rematch, as that bloke is just made of different stuff. Now the lightweight picture is a bit of a mess with 5 different champions holding 3 defenses each. Some idiots would say that Khabib is the most dominant of these champions, but I'd have to say that Islam is. Even though both Dagestani champions won vacant titles, Islam was still facing what most people thought to be the true champion in Charles Oliveira. Khabib on the other hand fought the number 11 ranked Aloy Quinta to a decision to get his belt. Islam was granted his title shot after beating Bobby Green, which is a bit questionable too, but you can't deny that since winning the belt, Islam has looked somewhat unbeatable. The first Volkanovski fight was close, but then he obviously put all that to bed with the KO in the second fight. He submitted the invincible looking Charles Oliveira to win the belt, and of course he recently finished Dustin Poirier too. With Islam already having a win over Arman Tsarukyan and that being the fight that's likely going to be made next, I see him defending once again and becoming the holder of the most lightweight title defenses. Then looking at the top 15, I don't think there's a single fight where I'd bet against Makhachev, so I can see him putting together a record that's going to be hard to beat. Jon Jones is one of the most controversial fighters ever, but his dominance as the light heavyweight champion cannot be questioned. He holds the 4th highest amount of title defenses in UFC history with 8, and when winning the belt, he became the youngest champion in UFC history too. His run of defenses is probably one of the most impressive, with wins against legends like Lyoto Machida, Rampage Jackson, and Vitor Belfort. Losing the belt to a piss test in 2017, Jones has never lost the light heavyweight belt inside of the Octagon, despite many fans thinking that he lost the Reyes and Santos fights respectively. Of course, since then, Big John has moved up to heavyweight, where he's been more like the most passive champion in UFC history, with his blatant disregard of recognising Tom Aspinall as the true #1 contender. But then I guess, why would you fight this up-and-coming dangerous killer with an average fight time of 2 minutes, when you can just fight old man Stipe, who has an average reaction time of 2 minutes? It's really a no-brainer, isn't it? For some honourable mentions, we also have GSP, who smashed 9 of the world's best welterweights before vacating the belt, throwing on a few pounds and moving up to middleweight to choke out one-eyed Mike for the middleweight strap. Anderson Silva was obviously a really dominant champion, and the all-singing, all-dancing Valentina Shevchenko deserves her flowers too for her mega-impressive 7 title defences. Let me know down in the comments if you think I got this all wrong, like it if you liked it, and I'll see you all in the next one.